Hey guys, welcome back. Hopefully day 2 left you feeling great and ready to conquer our day 3 program. Again, same rules as day 1 and day 2. We're going to go through our stretch series, our activation series, and our movement prep, and then we're going to get into some strength work. So you're going to see that clip pop up in a second. Go through that stretch with me as I do it. Hopefully it's getting a little bit more comfortable by now. And then we will catch up here in a minute to go through our day 3 strength stuff. See you in a minute. So the first stretch we're going to do is an overhead lat stretch, or if you've ever taken yoga, you might know it as downward dog. So all we're going to do is be on our knees. We're going to think about pushing our butt back toward our heels, sliding our arms forward, taking a deep breath in through your nose, and then exhaling hard through your mouth. Three big breaths there. And now we're going to work on your hips. And what we're going to do next is a 90-90 stretch. So we can really think about making two letter L's with the back leg and the front leg. So we want to be 90 degrees at the back leg, 90 degrees at the front leg. You may notice when you sit in this position, one leg tries to stick up in the air. What we're going to think about doing is using the muscles in the hip to try and push both knees into the floor. From there, we're going to reach over the front shin, keep a good tall chest, and we're probably going to feel a stretch in your hip. If not, we can lean a little bit more forward, but what we don't want to do is drop your chest to the floor. So from here, we're going to think about pressing both knees into the floor. Deep breath in. And we'll get 3 big breaths. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, both knees bent to 90, chest up nice and tall. Lean over that front shin. Should feel a stretch in my left hip right now. Awesome, that's a great stretch in the hip. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to an all-fours position, and we're going to do what's called a cat-cow. So really what we're going to do is think about humping up cat, big round spine, chin to the chest, and then flatten out with our chin to the ceiling. We're going to go nice and slow. Again, we don't want to cause any pain or discomfort. You should just feel a decent stretch in your low back and that hump. Then maybe a little stretch in our neck as we look up. We'll get a total of 5 of these. And then from the same position, we're going to get some neck rotation. So I'm just going to take my chin toward one shoulder and then take it toward the other. We'll get 5 each side. Good, and you may notice one side is a little tighter there. That's kind of normal. We just don't want to work through pain. Okay, from here, we're going to maintain that all-fours position. We're going to take a wide stance with your knees, keep your chest up, and we're just going to rock the hips back until we feel a decent stretch in the groin, and then we're going to rock forward. What we don't want to do is round the spine. So we want to keep the chest up, rock back, inhale forward. And we'll get 5 of these. Okay, so from there, I'm going to show you from the front. We're going to keep that wide position with the knees, but we're going to take one leg straight out to the side. The foot's going to be pointed straight ahead and flat on the ground. We're going to rock back, and now this time we're going to feel that stretch in the inner thigh of the straight leg. Same rules. Exhale back. Inhale forward. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, wide stance with the knee. Awesome. Now, we're going to mobilize our thoracic spine a little bit. So I'm going to show you from the side on this one. We're going to think about sitting back on our heels. We're going to push one hand hard into the ground, one hand behind the ear, elbow to elbow, and then turn, exhale up. We really want to fight to turn that elbow toward the ceiling as high as we can. We'll get 5, and then we'll switch sides. For those of us that are spending way more time on Zoom and our computers than we like, this exercise is your best friend. Okay, 2 more we're going to get before we move on. The next we're going to get is a Spider-Man stretch. So if I go from an all-fours position, what I'm going to think about is bringing one hand up on my hand and then sliding my back knee back. So now I should feel a stretch in the front of my back leg. From here, I'm going to keep the tall chest. I'm going to squeeze my butt on the down leg side, and I'm going to breathe. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Last but not least, we're going to get our ankle move. So from a half kneeling position, we're going to take one leg and turn it so it's perpendicular in line with your knee. Pull your foot in just a little bit, and we're going to rock your weight out over your toe, but really focusing on sticking that heel in the ground. If you feel this in the knee, we're not doing it correctly. We should feel a little bit of a stretch in the back of our calf, maybe a little bit of a pinch in the front of your ankle. We don't want to feel this in the knee, though. We'll get 5, and then do the same thing on the other side. One more is 5. Cool. Now we're going to do some movement prep. Okay, 4 exercises in this drill. The first is going to be a toe touch squat. So what we're going to do is think about reaching for our toes, sitting down so the elbows end up inside of the knees. One arm up, the other arm up, drive from the heels and stand up. We'll get 5 of these. So we're going to sit, one arm up, the other arm up, stand up. Really think about pushing your heels through the floor. Try not to push from your toes. And there's 5. Okay, next, we're going to get a split squat. So we're going to stay in this half kneeling position. Now what we're going to think about is shifting your weight forward a little bit. And we want to imagine all of our mental weight being on our front heel, not through pushing through the back toe. A little bit of a lean forward. We're going to drive through that front heel, stand up, back down nice and slow. Try not to crash land at the bottom. We'll get 5, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, a little bit of stretch in that back hip, drive from the heel. There's 5. Next, lateral squat. So we're going to go nice and wide with your feet. Step slightly forward with one foot. And we're going to think about sitting behind that, in this case, my right heel. So I'm shifting my weight sideways and sitting behind my right heel. We'll get 5 of these, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Perfect. Okay, one more movement prep. Single leg deadlift with reach. So with this, I'm going to think about all my weight on my right leg, bend my knee slightly. And what I want to think about is getting along with both my arms and my left leg without locking out my right knee. And I'm going to stand up. There's 5, and we'll get 5. There's 5. So that is our warm-up. Hit pause on this video if you need to. Grab a sip of water, and we're going to get into our strength work. Good job so far, guys. See you in a minute. All right, guys, so we're ready to rock and roll on our day 3 program. So for this tricep, I am going to ask you to use a piece of equipment, and that's just going to be a hand towel or a dish towel. We're going to use this for an upper back exercise here in a second. But the first thing we're going to do is some lateral squats. So we've done those in the warm-up already. We do them every day. But if we think something is important in a 3-day workout, we should probably hit it every day. So now we're going to use this as a strength exercise. We're going to go wide with the feet. We're going to sit back behind that front heel. We're going to try and get up to 8 repetitions per leg. Again, always driving through your front heel and sitting back. A good way to think of this is sitting on a stool that's behind that heel you're pushing from. And then we'll just switch our feet and do the same thing to the opposite side. We'll get 8 repetitions there. The second exercise is going to involve your hand towel. What we're going to do here is we're going to grab it on the edges. We're going to take that same position as we did with the standing T. Then I want you to think about ripping the towel apart, creating lots of tension, and then pulling, squeezing your shoulder blades together, and back down. So we're ripping it apart and lifting it to the chest. And the whole time we want to think about pulling it apart and squeezing your shoulder blades together. So from the front, the harder you pull apart, the more you're going to feel this in your upper back. And then our third exercise is going to be a straight arm plank. So for this, all fours position, very simple. We want to think about pulling the ribs to the hips, screwing the hands into the ground, and breathing. We're going to hold that for 5 big, long, slow breaths. Okay, so to recap this tricep, we have lateral squat for 8 on a leg. We've got towel bent row for 8 reps. We've got straight arm plank for 5 big breaths. Work up to 3 sets. When you're finished, catch me back here in a minute. All right, guys, good job on that first tricep. Now we're going to go through the second group of 3 exercises. A couple of these are going to look familiar. That's completely okay. Again, we're all about mastering the basics when it comes to body weight exercise. So the first is going to be a single leg deadlift, which we did on day 1. But to review, slight bend in the knee. We're just going to think about reaching both with the arms and the leg, trying to get in on the leg, pushing that heel through the ground. The other thing we want to pay attention to is that up leg toe doesn't turn out. We want to keep that foot pointed straight at the ground. We'll go ahead and get 8 repetitions per leg there. Then, you guessed it, we're back to push-up. So to review, most important thing is that we do these in one piece. So if we can get them off the ground, fantastic. If we're able to get all the way up and all the way down in one piece without feeling tension in the low back or too much tension in the neck, that's awesome. If not, we want to elevate the torso. So to do that, find something at home. Obviously, I'm at the gym here. I have an 18-inch box. Your height will vary depending on your strength. But we want to find a height that allows us to get within an inch of the surface that we're pressing from and back up in one piece. We don't want half rep push-ups. Okay, and then third, by the way, we're going to get up to 8 repetitions of those. And then third is going to be a bird dog. So if we start on all fours, I'm going to think about extending my right leg and my left hand at the same time, while keeping my ribs and hips pulled together. So what we're after here is to be able to move the arm and the leg without arching your back. And we can alternate on these as well. We'll get 5 on each side. Again, the most important thing here is maintaining control with your midsection and not coming unplugged when we're reaching. So to recap, we've got 8 single leg deadlifts. We've got up to 8 push-ups. We're going to get 5 bird dogs on each side. So again, left arm with the right leg, right arm with the left leg. 3 rounds of those, and you'll be good to go. Go ahead and hit pause, and we'll recap in a second. All right, guys, you did it. That concludes our day 3 program. Again, hopefully you feel like you did something, you feel like you could do it again, and you had a little bit of fun. So this type of bodyweight program usually will work for about 4 weeks before we'll have to make some changes. If you've been exercising prior to watching this, obviously it may be necessary to move things a little quicker. The most important thing to understand is that it's better to master the basics than to throw all kinds of different things in for the sake of variety. If you do have bone or joint pain, the best thing you can do is stick with what you know works so we don't get you hurt. If you do have any questions or would like to know how to progress any of this stuff, again, you know how to get in touch with me. My email address will be in the emails that I send you, and I'll make sure it's in this video description as well. Thanks for participating, guys. Keep up the good work, and I'm here if you need me. I'll talk to you soon.